used to it. But so here is the video. I hope you guys can hear us. So we're gonna try our best. We'll learn. These will be better, easier in the future. So um, let's start. These will be better, easier in the future. So
Okay, so we're gonna start with the AFC East. So some notable guts for the Bills are Andre Roberts, whose primary thing is special teams. He made the Pro Bowl either last year or the year before as a special teamer, but had a much less productive season last year and got cut. Then we also got two wide receivers, Duke Williams, who is undrafted, both of which were undrafted the same year, and neither really had much success with the Bills, but yeah, just didn't have a lot of success.
and most of these guys, that's exactly what happened and why they're cut. So
And then we have Dean Marlowe, who had, I think, 2 starts last year, but didn't really get anything done, and we don't really want to have a roster spot of a safety that is only 2. So yeah, and then Davis Webb, who never hasn't started a game as far as I know, but interesting fact about him, he started ahead of Patrick Mahomes in college. So, just an interesting fact.
all right, let's move on to the next team, and let's see what team that is.
We have got the Dolphins.
The Dolphins with they just cut Josh Rosen, and lucky for him, he actually doesn't have to move that far away. Just moved to the He just got picked up by the Buccaneers. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of this pickup by the Bucs, but because if you're gonna get some insurance for Tom Brady, I don't like this because Josh Rosen has not proved himself to be a starting QB, let alone a backup, or a backup QB, let alone a starter. And I just don't love this pickup by the Bucs, but the Dolphins did cut him recently.
So I disagree with your opinion there slightly. I think that I think Josh Rosen has a lot of talent. I think one of the main reasons why Josh Rosen hasn't failed is he's gone to the 2 worst teams of the last 2 years. I mean, the Dolphins lucked into 5 wins. They should have had 1, maybe 2. And the Cardinals were just playing bad. They got the first overall pick and not by trading. So yeah, so I like this pickup for the Buccaneers because it gives them an afterthought, because the only other quarterback really on their roster is Blaine Gabbert, who has not proven to be good. So yeah, that's the Dolphins. Then we got the Jets, who cut a pair of quarterbacks and a wide receiver. So
yeah, you can't. I don't think you need. I think they have like 4. They had 4 before they cut these 2.
5 before they cut these
4,
2.
yeah, 5. They have to focus on who they actually need. The Jets. Yeah, what do you think?
Okay, so they kept on their roster. So before they cut it, they had Sam Darnold, Joe Flacco. They drafted a quarterback in the 6th round. Then they had David Fields and Mike White. So I personally think they should have cut the 6th rounder as well, just because they probably could have kept Dante if they had cut him, because they needed to cut this many people. So if they had cut him, they could have probably kept Dante. But I think this because I think you definitely don't need 5 quarterbacks in your roster. I think you need 2, maybe 3 if you have a really good third, or in a Marcus Mariota situation, or like any wide receiver, any other really injury prone quarterback situation. See, I just don't like this. I think they should have had more, but
I want to shout out Kicksfinity for joining us today. Thank you for showing up. You've actually been a huge supporter recently, and just wanted to give you a shout out. So let's move on to the next team.
Okay, so for the next team, we have the Patriots. We had Lamar Miller, who before his ACL tear was a pretty productive pretty productive running back, but he just hasn't been able to recover from his ACL tear. Then we have Jeff Thomas. So they cut 3 draft picks or undrafted free agents from this year. So I'm not sure how to put this. I like them cutting the quarterback because they don't need they already have Brian Hoyer, Stidham, Newton. They don't need a 4th. Brian Lewerke would have been a 4th, or maybe even a 5th because they might have had another one. So, and then Nick Folk and Justin Rawhauser. So I don't like these cuts because if you look at the depth chart now, Patriots kicking roster, it is not very good now. It has gone. Them cutting this has chopped it extremely down. Hold up. Yeah, I mean, they've cut their roster. It's just not very good anymore. I think they have one cup. Okay, so according to this, they have Chase McLaughlin, who got cut by a different team. Or maybe, I mean, they don't have as far as I can tell, they do not have a kicker on their roster anymore. So they don't have a kicker right now. I'm not a fan of having more than one kicker, but I also don't like having less than one. So, yeah. Then we're moving on to the NFC. So first we got the Cowboys. The thing about the Cowboys, the reason why these 2 cuts are a big deal is because this leaves them with very few kickers left on their roster. So, I mean, linebackers. This leaves them, I think, with 3 on their roster, 2 of which are extremely injury prone. I don't like this for them. You gotta take on this, Jules? Jules, you there? God damn it. Wait, can you guys hear me? You guys can't hear me. Dang it. Can you hear me? Wait, can you guys hear me? You guys can't hear me. Dang it.
Hello?
Can you hear me? Wait, can you guys hear me? You guys can't hear me. Dang it.
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, good. I don't know what just happened there. Okay. So what I was saying about, you guys hear me? What I said about the Cowboys?
Yeah, so basically, most of these guys, obviously, as you know, were cut and they just don't fit. I didn't love these 2 pickups anyway for the Cowboys, and well, especially mainly the Francis Bernard one. These are not great pickups in the undrafted free agency. So I guess we can move on to the next one. The next team.
Yeah. So with the Eagles, they cut a pair of disappointed picks from 2017. Um, so basically, they both of which have disappointed in their first couple of years. Um, and then Sharif Miller, who got drafted last year, has just like some of them have just disappointed. But yeah, yeah. Okay, so moving on to the Giants. So the Giants cut two quarterbacks. So one of them, Cooper Rush, who has kind of bounced around a little, not a lot, but this is his third year. Just hasn't been able to stick that well, and yeah, I mean, both of these are kind of are quarterbacks that just they don't need that badly. So yeah, I like these cuts. I don't think they were. I think they weren't really necessary players on the team. So yeah.
Oh, and then for this one, they have a load of players they cut. Not surprising because it's the Washington football team. Obviously, they're not too good right now, but um, so they dropped Richard Rogers, Steven. Oh wow, they actually dropped that Steven Montez, the
Mhm.
quarterback from Colorado from this year, Sean Davis, Nate Orchard, Aaron Colvin, Trey Quinn, wide receiver pick of the 2018 draft. And so, yeah, there's one more.
So the
What?
thing about Trey Quinn is he's caught two touchdowns, which is more than most Mr. Irrelevant get picked or catch. Most Mr. Irrelevants get cut. But I think that he could have been a good player. I definitely think he could have been a good player. But I don't disagree with a lot of these picks. I do kind of disagree with Steven Montez. I think he would have been a good backup. Well, third string behind Alex Smith, who I'm glad is back. So yeah. So anything else you want to add?
All right. So we are uh talking about the Titans now. They actually dropped Trevor Simeon, a
Simeon.
Simeon 2015 draft pick and from the seventh round. He was actually a top free agent in my opinion for the quarterbacks, and he got signed to the uh he was signed to the Titans like a week or two ago. Obviously, did not show up, he did not play very well, and so yeah, I think he definitely will get picked up by another team eventually, but for now, he's just not that he's just not like
Yeah.
And Kixfinity actually commented, Browns chances to make the playoffs. What do you think
Ooh,
about that?
that's a good question. So if the Browns were in almost any other division, I would say they were a sure pick to be that division's wild card. I think it's wild card. But because they are in that division, they have their interdivision matchups. They have to play the Steelers twice a year, which I think is going to be a hard matchup. The Ravens twice a year, which we know is going to be a hard matchup, and then the Bengals twice a year, which I think could surprise a lot of people. So I don't think that the Browns are going to make the playoffs this year. I think they're going to come close to it. And if there's a third, like a division, and they'll send 3 people to the playoffs, it will be that division. But I just don't see them making it otherwise, because I think the Steelers and the Ravens are going to place ahead of them.
Kixfinity commented, I have us going 10-6, and I could see that, but I don't think Baker Mayfield's shown up yet. Unless he has like Ryan Tannehill year this coming year. I think they'll have a chance. But I think it'd be more like a 9-7.
I think that this year, especially chance,
but I think it'd be more like a 9-7.
I think that this year, more than at least from now on, there's definitely going to be a higher chance of a 9-7 team making the playoffs, just because they add the 7th seed. I cannot see them making it. I cannot see them winning the division. I just cannot see it. I mean, the Ravens are better than them. The Steelers are better than them. I just can't see them winning it. But I think that there's a chance of them making the playoffs as like a lower wild card, like a 7th or 8th seed. I just don't see them making it. They getting a bye or anything. Ooh. Huh. I think that Tom Brady's chances are making the playoff of winning MVP. I think that they are kind of. I think he is probably the top. I think he's probably the 10th most likely person to win the MVP. I think Lamar is the number 1. Mahomes is number 2. Russ is number 3. Watson is number 4. I think McCaffrey has to be number 5 just because he does so much. Maybe yeah, I think maybe like 6th or 7th most likely person to win it. I'd say 7th most likely person to win it. Jules? Okay, going on to the Texans. I think that they cut 2 notable players. Greg Mance, a center who hasn't done a lot, and then Jalen Watkins, a former 4th round pick, who's played for a lot of different teams, most notably the Chargers, which is where he's most likely going to come back to because of the Derwin James injury. So, yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry.
Okay, cool. Okay, so Xfinity asked TB12's chances to win the MVP.
I think they're pretty high, honestly.
I'd say that, in my opinion, they're the 6th or 7th highest most likely, because Lamar, in my opinion, is number 1. Mahomes is number 2.
I'd say McCaffrey 3.
Personally, I'd say
or maybe Michael Thomas.
I like Russ, and then Watson, and then what's his name? McCaffrey. There we go. And then Tom Brady, just because I think that some of the more mobile quarterbacks have a higher chance of getting it just because they're more exciting to watch.
Yeah.
Oh, hold up. I think we might have got something. My fingers buzzed. Back in a second. What? Oh. Big news.
What's that?
Giannis won't return to Game 4.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. He's not coming back to Game 4. Oh. Okay, that's another good one. Xfinity. I think the second best running back.
I'd say this year it all comes down to the 2016 the 2016 what is it? Draft with the draft class with Derrick Henry and Zeke. I believe last year was McCaffrey, Zeke, and then Henry. But I think this year it honestly might have to be Derrick Henry, honestly. I think he had an overall better season based on he only missed one game because of an injury, but just look how much they used him.
Yeah.
It wasn't really surprising injury, but I'd say I'd have to go Henry here.
Okay, so I mean there's 3 running backs really contention for number 2. We got Zeke and Derrick Henry, obviously. Then we got Alvin Kamara. So the reason why I've said Alvin Kamara is because he has a lot. I think he's a little bit of a poor man's Christian McCaffrey because he does a lot of the same stuff as him. He does a lot of similar stuff to Christian McCaffrey. So
it looks like Kixfinity said Zeke.
Yeah, I think he's got to be between Zeke. Okay, I got 2 surprise picks. One's a really big long shot, was not as much. So Saquon Barkley is my not as much one because I think he could, if he plays to his full talents, he's the best running back in the league. Better than CMC. Then my long shot, this is going to sound so stupid, but my long shot is Leonard Fournette.
It's funny because I think you were criticizing him the other day.
Oh, I definitely think that Leonard Fournette is not that good with Jacksonville. But I think his potential, I think with Bruce Arians, they're going to be a more run-based offense just because Brady is just not that good anymore. I mean, he's not amazing anymore. He's not 2007 Tom Brady. He is 2020 Tom Brady. So I think that there's a chance that Leonard Fournette is going to get a lot of carries. And if he gets a lot of carries, there's a chance that he'll break a couple of big ones. Plus, he can catch the ball. So I think that there's a slight chance of it being Leonard Fournette. So if I had to place odds on it, the highest odds would definitely go to Zeke.
Oh,
second highest would go to Derrick Henry. Third would go to Kamara. Fourth would go to Saquon.
Oh, we've got Kixfinity commented his list, his top 10. Christian McCaffrey, Ezekiel Elliott, Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, Nick Chubb, Alvin Kamara, Dalvin Cook, Aaron Jones, Joe Mixon, and Josh Jacobs.
So the only point of contention I'd like to make with that top 10 is I would personally move Dalvin Cook. I would switch Dalvin Cook and Mixon around just because I think that Dalvin Cook, he's a great running back when he's on the field. But I think he's off the field way too much, which is why I don't think he is. I mean, he's definitely a top-tier running back, definitely top 10, but I just don't think he's number 7. I think he's number 9, maybe even number 10.
I'd agree with that. Most of that list is. I mean, I know you really like Alvin Kamara right now, but I'd say that list is pretty much my
Yeah, I
top
agree. I
my
agree with that list for
my
the most.
top 10.
Other
So
than that one
let's
change, I
yeah.
definitely agree with it.
So let's go to the Colts. The Colts cut Chase McClain.
McLaughlin.
Yeah. Andrew Vollert, Chad Kelly, and that's it so far.
Okay, so the thing about Andrew Vollert is this is not his first time getting cut this offseason. His number 2. His first cut came on Hard Knocks this year when he got cut by the Chargers, and then he got cut by the Colts, obviously. And by the way, this is not all the cuts that were made because there were just so many cuts that were made. I just put like my list of the biggest ones in my opinion. So this is not the correct list. Trey Lance. I haven't heard that name before.
Yes, I have heard that name. Trey Lance, what about him?
Who will have the better career? Oh, So he's like, okay. I think that.
I'd say Carson Wentz. I have to.
I got to say, I think it's got to be Carson Wentz too, just because I don't like. I wouldn't want to say like a college player is better than a proven NFL veteran.
I think he means like during when they were in college, I think. Could you confirm that, Kixfinity?
No, it says better NFL career.
Oh.
See, I gotta say Carson Wentz just because he's already proven that when when everything around him is good, he can play at an MVP level.
Yeah, and if he can actually move his college game to the NFL, then he'll definitely be better than Carson Wentz because I don't think he had. I think he had like 0 interceptions last year. So
yeah, he's that. I think if from a couple highlights I've seen of him, he is if he can transfer it to the NFL, then he will definitely be the better quarterback. Just because Carson Wentz, he
injury prone,
not just injury prone. I see ya, Kixfinity.
see you, man.
We definitely considering doing this weekly. Maybe not on Sundays, definitely Saturdays, but
yeah, maybe every Saturday. We're also dropping a video every Friday or every Friday to predict the upcoming week for the NFL. So, thank you, man.
See ya. The only problem with his game is that it rarely transfers to the NFL level. But if it's one of the few quarterbacks that do it, then it will definitely be a good. It'll definitely be a good. He'll be an amazing player, but I'm just worried that he won't be able to transfer it. So that's why I'm saying Carson Wentz is better because he's proven. He has a Super Bowl ring.
Yeah. Okay, let's go to is it the Jags now? Yeah.
The Jags.
They dropped Mike Glennon, Josh Dobbs, and Ryan Pope.
So the thing about I don't like the 2 quarterback cuts. I take back a little bit what I said earlier about not having free quarterbacks in your roster. You can have free quarterbacks in your roster. It is actually a good thing in the Jaguars case. Because they have their quarterback position, I'm not gonna say bad, but it is one Minshew who is sporadic. Let me put it that way. And then a 6th-round rookie. I don't like that quarterback room. Jules?
Oh yeah, I'm here.
I'm the only one on the live stream.
No, there's one other guy.
That's me.
No, there's okay.
That's
well, me. I guess that will do it for our live stream. Come back next week. Yeah, Kicksfinity, great idea. So yeah, come back next week. Check out our podcast. It's at the Sports Star Podcast. Just look it up on Google or wherever you search. And
we will be doing, at least while the regular season, actually while the NFL season is still on, we will be doing once a week videos on. We'll be dropping them on Friday. Well, we're recording them on Fridays. We'll either drop them Friday night or Saturday morning, Saturday midday. And then we'll usually be doing a live stream at 3 to 4.
Yeah. So yeah, like, subscribe, turn on the post notifications. Yeah, and check out our podcast. The link is in our the YouTube homepage. So check that out. And yeah, before we go, actually, I wanted your opinion on Jadeveon Clowney.
I like this because the Titans, the main reason why they didn't get to the Super Bowl last year was their defense. They could not touch Patrick Mahomes. They could not only could they not tackle him, they couldn't touch him. So they needed another defensive lineman. I think if Vic Beasley shows up, him and Vic Beasley could be one of the best linebacker pairings in the game.
Yeah, duos. I do think this is much needed for the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah.
So I think that wraps things up. I want to just thank you guys for watching, and yeah, see you guys.